Let's bring into this conversation, because Farmer Dell want to know, let's get an expert. We found one. His name is Jonathan Davies. He's an economist and podcaster, wealth advisor based in Hertfordshire. Jonathan, good afternoon to you.
Hello, Roberto.
So both the Shadow Chancellor and the Chancellor have laid out their intentions for the future, post the election, of course. One would borrow £100 billion over current plans and break his own fiscal rules. And John McDonnell will borrow £150 billion over 5 years. Where's this money going to come from?
As John McDonnell said there, who wants to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer for our country, it'll come by borrowing it from pension funds, other countries, private investors. He used a phrase, the gilt market. In other words, your pension fund will buy gilts from the Bank of England. In other words, you're lending money. The government, the bank, will pay you interest every year. That is how they're going to get the money, because on top of that, they will also, of course, raise taxes. The Conservatives probably will not raise taxes. Probably, not definitely. Of course, the Labour Party will massively raise taxes. So, in other words, in summary, in two places, they'll raise taxes and they'll borrow money. That's the only place that government can get money.
Can't they just keep kicking these programmes into the long grass, keep borrowing money and then just let our grandkids pay for it?
Well, the borrowing is our children and grandchildren going to pay for it. John McDonnell was trying to put a spin on economics in that conversation you had with him, that governments can borrow money. Interest rates, as everyone knows, are very, very low. Therefore, the cost of debt is low. It's just like you get a mortgage for a house. One of the reasons why house prices are so high, because mortgage rates are so low, so people can borrow a lot of money. Because it doesn't cost vast amounts to pay on a monthly basis. Very similar for a government. Problematically, my analysis tells me that even without this borrowing, the UK, of course, is part of the global economy, and it seems to me that the global economy is showing signs of long-term inflation coming back into the system. That will raise interest rates globally. If our next government borrows a lot of money, our interest rates will rise even more. So the cost of borrowing will rise even more. It's not just going to be our grandchildren, it's going to be our children, and it's going to be us who pay for it.
You're an economist, right? Well, you're a world-class economist. Help me out here. Do you think the general public... we all want schools, hospitals, new roads, care homes. We all want everything, but it's debt they're promising. Is that what people want?
Roberto, politics for the last 100 years in the West has been politicians promising more and more and more and saying it's not going to cost very much. That is why, for example, the United Kingdom government, whichever colour the government is, it today owes the pension funds, other countries, etc., £2,000 billion. To put that in context, it costs £500 million to build a whole NHS trust from scratch, land and buildings and technology. £500 million. Our government already owes £2,000 billion. And politically, it's always been expedient to borrow and spend. The politicians say we're investing. Well, of course they would. It's a nice word. It sounds positive. What they're actually doing is spending our future money, our children's money, in order to buy votes today.
Jonathan?
If they didn't promise all these things, if we brought down the costs of things, I tell you, we could still have all those things, all those services, but it wouldn't cost us as much. If they stopped the borrowing, that's the problem. We're paying so much already on interest on the 2,000 billion.
I'll take some trouble. We will talk again, I'm sure, pretty soon. Jonathan Davis, economist and podcaster based in Hertfordshire.